there guys, welcome back to a Retro Adventures. And this time I'm going to be having a look at Operation Rapidstrike for Top Secret. Now this has been in the poll a few times and it's never won. But as part of this series where I've been covering older adventures and seeing what adventures look like at the very foundation of role-playing, Operation Rapidstrike came out in 1980, so it fits into that criteria nicely. So I decided, what the hell, I'm going to cover it this week. Now, I'll cover that on the desktop in a wee second, but before I do that, I'd like to take a moment to mention my patrons, who are wonderful, wonderful people who make all of this possible, and I'd like to thank them from the absolute bottom of my heart. Their efforts are very much appreciated. But if you'd like to join them and help support the channel, or you'd like to see these videos a week early, or you'd like to gain access to one of the other levels of patronage we've got, then there's a Patreon in the description down below. Check it out, it'd be very much appreciated. But anyway, let's have a look at Operation Rapidstrike. So, this is Operation Rapidstrike. It's for the Top Secret role-playing game. It came out from TSR in 1980. And this, although it says on the cover it's module number 2, it's actually the first adventure that was published separately to the main rules, because adventure number 1 was in the box set, and I covered that the other week where I covered the main rules for Top Secret. And this is very much just a dungeon bash. You're approaching a building, you're raiding it, and that's it. There's no investigation or anything. This isn't James Bond, as always, that I thought Top Secret was trying to be. It was trying to be the British Avengers, it was trying to be James Bond, it was trying to be the Man from U.N.C.L.E. But this is more SEAL Team 6. You're a squad of commandos raiding a military base to stop it releasing toxic gas. And it can be very, very much fun, you know, wandering through a building, taking down opponents, very much like you would in a standard dungeon bash, be your fighters, warriors, etc., going through, killing orcs, clearing rooms. In this, you're going to be a bunch of secret agents who are gunning down bad guys and conning your way past guards, picking locks, etc. Very, very standard stuff. But anyway, let's have a look at the back cover. Agency, Computer Printout 02. Data, Nobel Prize-winning scientist Doctor Felix Fendelmann has disappeared from his laboratory retreat in Switzerland. Data, Genevieve Larreau, known to have contacts in the underworld and suspected to have been involved in the industrial espionage of the Texacron Chemical Corporation, was sighted in the same area of Switzerland shortly after the disappearance of Dr. Fendelmann. Data, Mademoiselle Larreau is reported to have developed a new and potentially dangerous, mind-expanding drug. Data, Dr. Fendelmann's Nobel Prize for his research on chemicals and their effects on the mind. Data, Mademoiselle Larreau is known in international crime circles for a desire to subvert Western civilization for her own personal goal of geopolitical domination. Ready, compile and assimilate data, run. Conclusion, Madame Larreau has apparently kidnapped Dr. Fendelmann and forced him to develop this dangerous new drug. Her intent must be somehow use the drug to further her plans for world domination. Mission, neutralize Larreau and her operations at all costs. End run, end report. Rapidstrike, a game module for Top Secret by Mike Carr, who is a very well-known name amongst Dungeons & Dragons. Did some of the very good first early adventures. Now, opening up, and the cover acts as the maps. So we've got the upper level, and we've got a subterranean level, leading to some docks with a ship, and maps of that as well. Now, the building itself has a helicopter pad out the front, and it has dog kennels at the side, as well as a secret entrance elsewhere. So there's various ways of infiltrating the building. The adventure itself, codename Popeye, which I find amusing. We've got the forward. They set out to write their first adventure. They ran it through at Gen Con as a tournament scenario. They're usually tough, and this one's no exception. Their enthusiasm that you as players and administrators have shown for the game is very gratifying to all of us at TSR. So they plan to do a lot more. I don't think they did. I think there were only a few adventures for Top Secret. I don't think it took off that massively. We go in and we have the introduction, telling us about the format of the adventure and going through encounter areas. So you go onto an island first of all, then there's the building compound. There's various security around it, their chances of reacting to the players if they're spotted. There's ways of sneaking in. You can hide in the vegetation at night, but it's no use during the day. Lots of information on approaching it. There's a map of the island later. But I find it very amusing that the guards will verbally challenge people are approaching on this island where there is only one building. So they've got to know that the people are there for a bad reason. Continuing through, and we've got the key, so it details out all the areas. So there's a helipad, the elevators, the kennels, with the intruder discovery table for how an animal guard dog will react. We've got reception areas, a museum, security offices, various detention cells. The artwork's pretty nice, I have to say. Very action-flowed, although I do find one of the pictures later a bit odd. But we go through all the areas. So there's computer rooms, office for Gregor. Gregor in his role as her relatively new financial agent. A library conference room, medical areas, lounges, mess halls. So this is where all the guards will be barracked. There's a main power room so that you can sabotage that. Here's the image I thought was kind of amusing, because this guy's head doesn't seem to fit to his body, and he's Satan, let's be honest. The guards are wearing a police eye helmet, where they're just security guards, they're not police. And for some reason they're shooting at Satan. But anyway, carrying on through, there's living areas, and then we've got the lower level key. So there's a shooting range and security access. We're going through the secondary power rooms, repair rooms, water traps, manufacturing areas, Dr. Fendelmann's office, so they're going to be finding out the information they need here, his suite, Mademoiselle Larreau's suite, her office, shipping and storage areas. We've got the mission briefing here, so you can pull it out and hand it to your players, with the briefing telling them about the drug, where they're going onto the island, that a covert agent has managed to sketch out a rough map of the area. We can see it somewhat matches up to the main map, although obviously it's a lot more rough. There's pictures of Dr. Fendelmann and Mademoiselle Larreau, and it details out. So, destroy and neutralize existing quantities of Zucor, the drug. Rescue Dr. Felix Fendelmann and retrieve any existing copies of the formula. Obtain information regarding Mademoiselle Larreau's current or future activities. Locate and rescue Gregor, her financial guy. And then we've got a map of the island, which is for the players. The Games Master doesn't get given this, although obviously you can look. But you get dropped off on the edge of the island, you arrive by scuba gear, you're supposed to conceal that by burying it on the beach, and then approach the compound. There's a fence around it, which is highlighted, or it's labelled as being electrified in 3 languages, but isn't actually. I do find that slightly amusing, that on an island where nobody else lives, that they do label the fence to con people off, but it's easily breached, and the building itself in the middle, and a short road down to the beach for how people would normally arrive. But then we're back to descriptions. So there's areas of the boat. So 60 is the boat itself, 60A is the flying bridge, afterdeck, galleys. A way of escaping from the island once the players have completed. There's an electrical trap. There's the Zucor victims, people who have been tested or had the drug tested on them. A mercenary soldier who was captured several years ago, suffering from paranoid hallucinations, so they can perhaps rescue him and get him to help. Room is filled with large potted plants. Contains a recognizable agent of the player's agency, so a colleague of theirs who's been captured. Various other people in different cells. And then it details ways that you could escape from the island. You could get a helicopter pickup per schedule, steal the helicopter that's already there. You can use the pontoon boat, swimming, or stealing the large boat. We've got knowledge tables for the different characters, and stats for just about everybody, right down to the last guard. A nice grid here with everybody with different stats, which is very cool. And then we've got notes. So while they're attempting to penetrate, what the reactions to the alarms will be from different characters, what they'll do, where they'll be. Alerted patrol chart. So what they do if the alarm goes off, what cameras and monitors are around, where people are watching from, which areas are watched, deactivating locks and alarms, desks and cabinets, the guard dogs which are on patrol or are kennelled there, different doors, the effects of Zukor if it's released onto them, the explanation of results, the complete hallucinations, how the elevators work, the intercom systems, how the bad guys will communicate around the place, different lighting, and then we describe through tournament play, with a nice picture of the island complex blowing up while the heroes leave on a pontoon boat. And the scoring system for tournament play, so the points you get to judge how well you've done, time tally sheets, and the different tournament agents. So pre-built characters that you can use if you will be running this in a tournament. Clyde Bottoms, Claude Boucher, Werner Klaus, Darlene Pett, Raoul Pizzotti, and Tom Whitehead. I think I worked with a Tom Whitehead once. And that's us at the back of it. Now, apart from being a dungeon bash, it's a very well done dungeon bash. The rooms are all very well described. We've got all the extra information on the purposes of rooms and the way the complex is used. So we can see if they set off an alarm, who's going to come, what's going to happen. And it works in a sensible way. Instead of it being an old style dungeon bash where you kill the orcs in one room and the goblins in the next room don't do anything. This has reactions to making noise, opening locks, the alarms can go off, and the guards can be roused against you. It's very well done indeed. For a 1980 adventure, this is very, very advanced, even though it is just a standard dungeon bash, and I would have expected far more. From a James Bond style game, I would expect this to be the finale of the adventure. Once they've done all their investigation, once they've tracked down where Dr. Fendelmann has been kidnapped from, they've spoken to his daughter, they've found out the people that were spying on him, they've followed them, and there's been an ambush or a break-in where they've found more information. And then they've found out about this base eventually, and they do the big raid at the end to rescue the Doctor and stop the gas being released. But all that earlier part is given to them in the player's handout, which makes it a little disappointing, but still a lot of fun to be had by going around a terrorist base and gunning down bad guys. So that was Operation Rapidstrike, and there's a load to love in there. I can see why this is considered an absolute classic adventure. There's huge amounts of fun in the dungeon delve type of adventure it is. You're going into an enemy base, you're kicking down doors, you're gunning down bad guys, and you're saving the world. There's a lot of fun to be had there. But that doesn't stop me being a little disappointed with it, because I really expected it to be more of a James Bond type adventure. I expected you to be flying off to foreign cities, to be breaking into buildings, sneaking around to find the secrets, to be going on car chases through the city streets as you escape from the bad guys, to be schmoozing with members of the opposite sex to convince them to give up secrets. But there's none of that. There's none of the investigation part. There's just the big blockbuster action at the end. So the last half hour of a movie without all the preamble part. And that's a little disappointing, but for what it is absolutely great. But anyway, as usual, I think I've been wittering on for quite long enough. So thank you very much for watching. As always, most of all, you look after yourselves. And I'll catch you later. Bye now.